Hello, my little shocker friends. It is me, P2Gamer679, in a new light. Hahaha. Anyways, I'm here to hopefully talk about Owl House Season 1 in one video. Because if I can't talk about shows I like with people I classify as friends, then damn it, I'll talk about them online. Because hey, what good is YouTube if I can't talk about the stuff I like? You know what I mean? Alright, so let me go into a little bit of history about Owl House. There was promotional art for it back in 2018, I believe. There was like the promotional stuff for it back in 2018. Season 1 released in 2020. You know, COVID time, so whoopee. Though it actually went through a very solid launch. Or at least I think it did anyways. I don't actually know anything about this history. I'm just guessing anything. It may have been a horrible cycle, but I mean, it came out during COVID, so it probably wasn't the most smooth sailing boat. But anyways, let's talk about Owl House Season 1. Anyways, because I plan on making a video about Owl House Season 2, and then I plan on making videos about the 3 seasons of Amphibia. Then I plan on doing a head-to-head battle to see which one, to tell you all which one I prefer between the two of them. And I plan to release these videos within the year, pretty much. If I won't take the whole year, I'm just giving myself a year. Just to, you know, kind of, you know, so I have a scapegoat. So that if I don't release them all within the year, hey, you get to put me on full blast. So, I mean, hey, what am I going to do about that? Anyways, oh, yeah, before I begin, major spoiler warning for Owl House Season 1. So, yeah, if you haven't seen Owl House, I highly recommend you do. All 3 seasons are on Disney+, so I recommend you binge the entire thing. I managed to get through the entirety of the show within, I don't know, 7 hours and 19 episodes, 24 minutes within 7 hours. Actually, I didn't go through all 19 episodes. Who am I kidding? Because I had been watching, you know, just the show. I didn't watch the entire show. I watched like I watched some episodes of the show a couple days ago because I've just been binge watching the show for the last week, pretty much. So I watched season 3, and then I watched episode 16, and then 15, and 14. Then I watched a bunch of the episodes in random order, and then I just watched the episodes I didn't watch for this video, for the making of this video. So, yeah. And so before we begin, I just should let you all know that this is only my opinion. I do want everyone who watches this show to form their own opinions based on this show, and don't solely take their opinion on this show based on what I say. Yes, you can get an idea of the show from what I say, but I cannot include every little joke, detail, little bit of foreshadowing, or little symbolisms that can pop up, because I'm terrible with symbolisms, except for the one symbolism I caught in Watching and Dreaming. So other than that symbolism, I'm awful at catching them. So, yeah. So, yeah. Form your own opinions on stuff. Don't be sheep. Boom. Alright. Spoiler warning in effect now. Let's get into this. So the 19 episode season starts with the first episode, obviously, which is A Lying Witch and a Warden, where we're introduced to Luz Noceda, Eda and King Clawthorn, and the Warden, and Warden Wrath, among other side characters like Tenellanosa, Fanfic Girl, and Eyeball Guy. I don't think we actually get names for them ever. So, yeah. Anyways, we're introduced to a few characters in episode 1. So, we're also introduced to Hootie. Everybody loves Hootie. But yeah, it's a very nice introduction episode. And so, yeah. Also, before we continue, season 1, like, it's like the thing that works like for both Owl House and Amphibia. It's like season one is normally like the more like generic kind of like comedy show tropes. Like there's like a shrinking episode, there's a body swap episode. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But hey, we'll get to that in a few minutes. And yeah, there's like the shrinking one. There's it kind of goes through like some of those fantasy story like motions. Surprisingly, Amphibia doesn't go through that actually, but it still does has its own generic episode types. So, you know. But I do give Amphibia more props for this part because it doesn't like tend to like go into that many like generic episode like fantasy episode plots. And even if they do, that's only like half of an episode. So there's less of that and more of just like hopefully another good segment after the fact. But I'll get to those in an Amphibia review. But anyways, let's just move on to the next interesting episode, which is I Was a Teenage Abomination, I do believe is the name of the episode, in which we get introduced. I'm not going to talk about episode 2 because episode 2 doesn't get brought up ever again. So I'm not even going to mention it. Anyways, we go to episode 3 where we're introduced to Willow Park, Augustus Porter, and Amity Blight. You know, the rest of the Hex Squad. Sort of. We'll get to that in the season 2 review. But hey. So, basically, the point of the episode is Luz wants to go to witch school because she hasn't learned anything yet. Because he is kind of a deadbeat teach. So, yeah. As she's walking home, because Eda's plan for the day was to loot a garbage carcass of human goods to sell that weekend. Because, obviously, what else are you going to do on your weekend other than sell human garbage at the market? And which is looted from either the human realm or a garbage carcass that ingested too much salt and died. Huh. Anyways, as Luz is walking home, because that's disgusting, she runs into Willow, who's getting bullied by Amity. Because at this point, Luz and Amity aren't dating. Because, unlike season 3, season 1, they don't know each other yet. So, they don't have chemistry yet. Woo! It's almost like I shouldn't have done the season 3 review before the season 1 review. So that now people may be confused. Anyways, hijinks ensues. Luz sneaks into the school with an abomination. It failed. Well, it gets by the abomination teacher, but it kind of shortly gets called out by both Amity and the principal, who kind of call them out, and by the end of it all, Luz gets banned from Hexside. Because, of course, why not? So, yeah, that's episode 3. Begins the Luz and Amity relationship that is very long-lasting, very ever-changing relationship that they have, and begins the blossoming of Luz's friend group. I say that because Willow's in it, and she also starts her plant magic track journey in this episode. So, yeah. The next episode I want to cover is episode 4, Intruder, in which the episode starts out with boiling rain, forcing all of our main characters inside as they have to deal with Eda's owl beast transformation. Mwahahaha. Anyways, they find out that the weakness for the owl beast is light, and so as Luz is rewatching the video that she took of Eda teaching her a spell, because hey, she finally found an excuse for Eda to teach her magic. So as she's watching the video, because Eda was too tired to be bothered to continue doing it, so she passed out. And without her elixir, you're turning into an owl beast. Anyways, now we're out to this point. To the point where I'm talking about. Anyways, so as she's reviewing it, she sees there's a pattern in the circle that's invisible and doesn't ever show up ever in the actual story. It kind of just only shows up in the video there. But anyways, yeah, she traces that pattern down, and boom, light glyph. Now she has a light glyph, and she uses her newfound power to get rid of the L Beast. And so they hook her up with a metric bucket ton of elixir until she's all good again. And then she has to reveal her secret on why she's actually called the Owl Lady and lives in the Owl House. Because she has an owl curse that, turns her into an owl beast. Fun. The next episode... Alrighty. So the next episode worth mentioning is Convention. Yeah, I've pretty much mentioned episodes 3, 4, and 5 because they're all really important. So anyways, this is the episode where we are first introduced to Lilith Clawthorn. Actually, King's not a Clawthorn at this point yet, really. So, just King the Demon. King the Demon. But anyways, yeah, we get introduced to Lilith Clawthorn, who is, as the name suggests, Eda's sister, who has joined the Emperor's Coven and is a mystery guest at this convention. At this Coven convention, which is just a convention. So, yeah. Luz wants to go. Eda doesn't want to go. Luz ends up forcing her with the power of really, childish books, which is just the Good Witch Azura, which is I forget the exact word she used for it, but basically she's this is so mindless. And so, yeah, they end up going to the convention. Seeing all these different these different covens. King gets a bunch of free offerings, just a bunch of free treats that'll scam someone into joining your coven. But yeah, eventually Lilith does a speech. Luz runs into Amity again. They do a witch's duel with an everlasting oath, which the terms of the agreement aren't really important for me to talk about, so I'm not going to bother, because nothing happens about that anyways. They have their duel, they end up cheating. I spent about 5 minutes of my time thinking about how I would actually beat Amity in that fight with Luz's moveset, which is just like glyphs. I spent way too long thinking about it, but hey, it's actually really easy if you think about it too much. But anyways, both parties are exposed to cheating, and nobody wins. Then we have the first Eda Lilith Fight, or as I like to call, Eda Lilith Part 1, which is just a short version of saying Eda versus Lilith Part 1. And this fight is really solid. This fight, the episode 5 Eda Lilith Fight, really painted to me at the time what magic can do in this show. And it makes me miss Eda having actual magic in later seasons. But hey, she's still pretty good in combat. Even in the future. Wait, pardon me, but yeah, it's a bit late, and I don't sleep very well. But hey, the show must go on. I'll get to that in a minute, but still. Yeah, so they end up fighting. It's also a draw, so they end up leaving, and boom, the episode ends after that point. Episode 6 and 7 are not ones I can remember off the top of my head. Give me 1 second there, folks. Let me just try and remember what they are here. Dang it, where's the remote? I swear I had the remote here just a minute ago. Where did it go? I can't find anything today. Nothing is findable today. And it's annoying. Like, I have this whole video idea plotted out. I'm going to talk about season 1, but now I just can't because I can't find the remote. And it's annoying because I can't remember what episode 6 and 7 are. And they're probably really good because it's Owl House. But I can't remember. And this is annoying. Technical difficulties here. I'll be right back. Alright, and I am back. I just figured out what episodes 6 and 7 are, and I can skip episode 6 because it doesn't really matter. Long story short, the trio of friends, Luz, Willow, and Gus, they animate the Owl House, and they take it for a joyride. So, that's the end of that. Episode 7, Lost in Languages. They go to a bookstore, and they bring things in the book to life. So they have a joyride, they find Amity's diary, and Amity gets pissed at Luz. So, yeah. But this is where the friendship section of the Luz and Amity relationship starts to form. So, yeah, that's about all that's really important in that episode. There's also the introduction of the Bat Queen, I do believe. Yes, the introduction of the Bat Queen is in this episode. Now, my fellow shocking fans here, it is time to talk about Season 1, Episode 8 of The Owl House. The episode I could not finish for this review because it is so annoying to watch, in my own personal opinion. Once Upon a Swap. It is a stereotypical body swap episode in which they're all having an argument about whose life is worse. It's kind of like what Gumball did in that one episode, except it wasn't a body swap episode, it just went through their days. And it eventually came to a conclusion. But anyways, yeah. In this one, they decided to do a body swap. And I hate it. I hate every single section of it because they split the whole episode into 3 sections. They split into Eda's catastrophe, King's brush with death, and I didn't bother getting past that, so I don't even remember what Luz is. But it's probably something to do with the police. With the coven. With the Emperor's coven. Because I didn't care getting even that far. Because I couldn't stand watching that episode. Because I hate it. I hate body swap episodes. I hate them with a burning passion. It's just annoying. In my brain, I was holding myself back from stopping the episode like the whole time. I just hate the concept because like I just hate it so much. I just have a hard time explaining why I hate it so much. But I just hate it. It is something I cannot really put into words, but I hate it. So, yeah, I know I kind of teased this since, like, the start of the video, but now I don't really have anything to show for it. I'm sorry, but, let's move on to the next important episode, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Something Ventured, Someone Framed. The second expedition of Luz going to Hexside without being allowed to go to Hexside. Fun. Basically, the problem of this episode is Gus gets ego challenged in his Human Appreciation Society group to the point where some random kid decides to show up with a bunch of fake human items, which is a cell phone, but it's a rock, and a shoe, but it's some mud, and I forget the third item, but yeah, pretty much. Some guy shows up with some fraudulent item. Some guy shows up with fraudulent items. Gus, in his bright, young mind, decides, hey, I'm going to drag a wanted fugitive back into the building and then hide the fact that she's still wanted and drag her back into the building to solve an ego challenge. It goes about as well as you can expect. All 3 of them end up in a detention pit, which is more like a torture chamber. With the whole, you get abducted and put in this little orb and you're mentally tortured into obeying the rules. Yay! It is horrifying to watch. This one's actually pretty good. I recommend watching this one just to see how horrific the detention pit is. And how ridiculous it is as well, because it's absolute garbage how ridiculous it is. Anyways, episode 10. If I'm not mistaken, I should just keep the remote with me so I can just look through the episodes here. Escape of the Palaceman is not one I really have much to say about, because, actually, yeah, no, I should probably mention this one, actually. Escape of the Palaceman is when, our main trio, I'm not even going to mention their names anymore, because saying them is probably going to end up with me screwing it up at least once. Saying Amity over Gus. But anyways, our main trio is going to go to a sports game. But Albert gets met, but they missed a flight. They missed the bus there. So now they have to go steal Albert from Eda, who's currently in like a sentient beast form for whatever reason. I don't know why, but she just is. So King decides to use her to take over a playground. But when she gets taken in by the pound, he has to get off of his throne and save her. But with the power of cute child screech, it's like, whatever. Anyways, they bust out of that and then they leave. Anyways, what ends up happening is that so Luz and Co. decides to take Albert to go to the Glandis versus Hexide game. Things go awry very quickly as Luz does not know how to fly the damn thing and bumps it into every tree possible and splitting the thing open and cracking Albert like a bit. Like there's now a hole there. There's a crack and you can see through the other side of it. It's kind of scary. He gets upset. He runs off and hides by Bat Queen. Yeah, sorry. So Luz does some trials. Bat Queen rigs it. Doesn't let Albert leave. Albert eventually pleads for him to leave, and they do. So yeah, they leave. It's all good. Next episode is Sense and Insensitivity. King becomes a popular author, not artist. Becomes a popular artist, writing the book Ruler's Reach, which will be more important later on, and not now. So I don't gotta mention it right now. So I'm not. Episode 12 is Adventures in the Elements. So Luz is about to go to school because during episode 9, Eda actually gets Luz enrolled into Hexide so that she can actually go to school without being wanted. So, yeah, I kind of forgot to mention that. My apologies. But, yeah. So, in order to get into non-baby classes, she needs 2 spells. She currently only has 1 glyph. And it's a light glyph. It is useful if you put it in the right situation, but yeah, she doesn't. So, yeah. So, yeah, they go to the knee to learn another glyph. It is only until Eda, Edric, and Emera, Amity's siblings, get kidnapped by a slither beast. And Amity traps Luz inside of a prison, a fire that she never uses again against anything else that would warrant using a prison for. Because, I don't know. That probably would have been useful against Kikimora, but whatever. Magic is magic. So, yeah, she learns an ice glyph through a snowflake and seeing a light glyph in the stars. So, yeah, she learns the ice glyph and she helps save Eda, Emera, and Edric. Yay. And now Amity and Luz's friendship is better than ever. Alright, next episode. Episode 13. The First Day. I don't even need to check that because I already know what episode 13 is. Because I'm just that good at this. Anyways, the first day is Luz's first day at school, as the title suggests. And she immediately gets thrown into the detention check for trying to mix tracks. Yes, trying to mix 2 tracks because she is too indecisive, and she wanted to decide, and she wanted to take some kid's oracle, orb, some enchanted orb thingy majiggy, into seeing whether she was doing the right thing, they were going on the right track. And then the oracle thingy said, "You will get in trouble very soon." It then pads to her getting into trouble with Bump immediately. I find that joke quite funny. It's predictable, but also funny. I won't lie. That's like one of the only jokes that are really predictable, but also really funny. So, yeah. So yeah, she gets put into the detention track. She finds a particular hideaway, meets Viney, Borkus, and some other kid. I can't remember his name. But yeah, some greater basilisk shows up, kind of like V, but more evil and older. And she sucks people's magic. Pause. And yeah, the basilisk gets beat by Luz and her other detention track buddies, and they all get started with the multi-track system where they can now learn multiple tracks. Luz picks everything. Viney picks Beastkeeping and Healing Coven. The kid I don't remember the name of chose Plant Magic and Abomination Magic. And the Barkus guy picked, I think, Oracle and I forget what else. And Potions, I think it is. Potions and Oracle, I do believe. To my knowledge, anyways. After the first day episode is, I believe, the circus. Yes. The shrink episode. I don't like shrink episodes, but this one's actually kind of fine. It's a fair bit of King being really stupid, and another fair bit of, hey, let's just ignore King. So, it's really a war on who can be the worst person. But yeah, King accidentally gets Willow and gets shrunk, and loses Oblivious. Well, sort of. Loses Luz, and is optimistic, and doesn't ask King what happened. Or lets King finish what he was saying. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, hijinks happen. Some really stupid tiny circus thing happens. Yeah, nothing really else happens. I'm just not usually a big fan of them. Episode 15 and episode 16, the two most illustrious episodes of the season. Understanding Willow and Enchanting Grom Fright. I'll cover episode 15 first because episode 15 is the one that's more underrated between the two because people talk about it less, but probably still well rated, but people talk about it less, so I want to talk about this one a bit more. I want to talk about this one first. So, yeah, episode 15, Understanding Willow. We delve head first. We dive in head and neck first into the Amity Willow backstory. If you love lore, this episode is your wet dream. Like, you will love it. 100%. It delves into their backstory head first. They dive into it. And it is amazing. It dives perfectly into their characters. It is absolutely amazing, bro. You don't gotta tell me twice. This is like my second favorite episode of actually, fourth favorite episode of the season because there's three more that I like more. One of those three being Enchanting Grom Fright. It is, everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's the Lumity dance scene, baby, with awesome music to boot. You got that It's Disney, so I'm not gonna keep going. I'm gonna get copyright striked because if I do continue, thanks Disney. But hey, it doesn't matter. But other than that, they fight Grom, who is short for Prometheus, who feasts on your fears, pretty much. Or, well, makes you live out your worst fears, but... who am I kidding? We've all seen the Lumity scene dance scene. So we all know that Grom gets defeated anyways with the power of friendship. Not really, but you get the point. And yeah, they make a tree that they actually go back to a grand one time. Nice. But hey, anyways, yeah, that's about the end of the episode. It ends on a more somber note, actually, for an Owl House episode, because Luz doesn't actually face her fear, as she says she would. She doesn't actually succeed in her goal for the first time. An idea we'll get very used to later on, but this is the first, actually, that Luz fails. She doesn't face her fear. She folds like an omelet. Her fear, well, her fear is about her own mother, really. I don't want to delve too far into it, but just know that much. Anyways, episode 17. We're in the end game, folks. This episode 17 is Wing It Like Witches. It is the sports episode. The actual sports episode. Where they play Grudgeby. So, fun. You know, it's Grudgeby season, so they play Grudgeby. Grudgeby is like, it's rugby, but since it's the Boiling Isles, they have to make it even more deadly than rugby already is. To the surprise of everybody, they managed to make rugby even more dangerous. Because I've seen people play rugby, or at least I've seen the aftermath of people play rugby. Broken nose or broken fingers, I think. And bruises, sunburns somehow. Yeah, my friend actually got sunburnt by sunscreen. I don't know how that happens, but it happened. Anyways, back on topic. It's actually a pretty funny episode, and actually does delve into the aftermath of Grom pretty well. Because the aftermath of Grom, this is more heavily sided towards Amity's life than it is towards Luz's. Because Amity is now a bumbling mess around Luz, in the sense that her crush for Luz has now spiraled into uncontrollable chaos. Basically being like, sweating in cute uniforms, I gotta go. And then she literally runs off, all scared. Her face is all tomato red. It's actually kind of cute and sad. It's cute and funny to see at the same time, because of just how kind of dorky it is. So, yeah. But hey, they play Grudgeby. It's actually pretty good. And, you know, montages, mentions sports movies and how ridiculous they are. But hey, it's pretty good. Now we get to the finale of Season 1. Episode 18, Agony of a Witch, and Episode 19, Young Blood, Old Souls. It is a 2-part finale, which we probably would have gone for Season 3 as well if it wasn't cut to 3 episodes, so the entire thing wasn't a finale. But, hey. Well, I don't really know if I should call it a 2-part finale, because it's kind of, well,